My name is Brock Page and welcome to Throwing Darts. I went a lackluster 1-1 on my picks for yesterday's Major League Baseball action. Let's look to get a lot better today. Speaking of which, the first game I have for you, Boston plus 1.5 at Houston with the total moving slightly downward to an even 9 runs. Currently, the Astros are the Moneyline favorites at $1.25, and at the moment, 77% of the money is on Houston to get the job done. Tonight's probables, Pomeranz for the Bo Sox, Mike Fiers for the Astros. Speaking of the Astros, they've been a tad chilly as of late, losing 3 of their last 4 and 6 of their last 10. They've also failed to win their last 3 series where they faced the Rangers, Angels, and Royals. The bad news ends for Houston bettors right there, however, as this Astros team is 22-14 at home while winning an impressive 70% of their games as the favorite. They're going up against a Red Sox team who wasted a beautiful Chris Sale 1-run outing last night, losing to the Phillies 1-0. Boston's also won just 16 of 34 on the road this year. But if you want to get some decent odds and make a little more than you wager, this Boston team before last night's action was 5-1 in their previous 6 games and are currently 7-5 when Drew Pomeranz makes the start. With all that in mind, the case can be made for either side, but before I go ahead and select a winner, let's go ahead and break down the total real quick. Out of both teams' last 4 games, 2 of those contests went over the line respectively. Both of those overs in Houston averaged a staggering 17 runs per game. Both teams are also collectively averaging 9.5 total runs per game in their last 4 communally. With all that in mind, the case for the over can be made. Having said that, though, I'm more concerned with selecting a winner in this one. So without any further ado, the time for talk is over. It's time for me to throw some darts in my underwear with a severely misguided sports pick in my 2-bedroom apartment. Although the case can be made for Boston, I have to imagine they will not only be a little jet lagged, but also a tad rusty after coming off a 4-gamer with the last place Cupcake Phillies. Boston's also winning just 7 of 16 as the underdog and just 42% as the official road underdog. Meanwhile, the Astros are a solid 8-4 when Mike Fiers starts on the mound. They're a remarkable 75% after a day off, and they're an absurd 82% versus teams over 500. It's for these very reasons that I think the Houston Astros minus 125 gets the job done for some money line cash. I'm predicting a final score of 6-4 Astros. That's going to take us into our second game. Not a real exciting matchup, but certainly a money-making opportunity. I'm talking about San Diego plus 1.5 at Milwaukee, with the total moving upward to an even 10 runs. Currently, the Brewers are the moneyline favorites at $1.60, and at the moment, 83% of the bettors think Milwaukee will get the job done. Tonight's probables, Miguel Diaz for the Padres, Junior Guerra for the Brewers. And speaking of the Brew Crew, they're 3-1 in their last 4, and they're also 3-1 in head-to-head matchups with these very Padres. Milwaukee's also winning an impressive 67% of their games as the favorite. Milwaukee bettors beware, however, you're not completely in the clear as this Brewers team has won just 17 of 36 at home this year. They're also a pitiful 1-4 in games where Junior Guerra makes the start. The Brewers are going up against a San Diego team who's 3-1 in their last 4 as well. San Diego is also playing 500 ball against teams who are, well, playing 500 ball. With all that in mind, however, the good news for Padres bettors pretty much ends there as the San Diego team has won just 10 of 32 games on the road this year. They're also winning just 38% of their games as the official underdog. Disparaging remarks aside, the case can legitimately be made for either side, especially if you're looking to get on the run line. Having said all that, let's keep it moving and slide into some total run breakdown, which is once again posted at an even 10 runs. 2 out of San Diego's last 3 games have gone under the posted total. Meanwhile, on the other side, 5 out of the Brewers' last 7 home games at Miller Park have all gone under 10 total runs. In addition to all that, both teams are collectively averaging just 9 total combined runs in their previous 4 games jointly. With all that in mind, the case for the under can be made. But once again, I'm not picking this game for the total. I'm ready to pick a winner. Therefore, the proverbial time for talk is over. It's time for me to once again throw some darts in my underwear with another severely misguided baseball pick in my 2-bedroom condo. When it comes to a moneyline winner, the San Diego team has won a measly 10 of 30 games as the official road underdog. They also lost 3 of 4 head-to-head matchups with the Brewers. Meanwhile, the Brew Crew's winning an excellent 67% of their games as the official home favorite. They're also a solid 31-23 in their third game without a day off. It's for these very reasons that I think Milwaukee will get the job done for some moneyline cash. I'm predicting a final score of 5-4 Brewers. All right, folks, with my first 2 picks in the books, we're going to slide into my third and final game for the show. I'm talking about San Francisco plus 1.5 at Colorado with the total at 11 runs. Currently, the Rockies are the moneyline favorites at $1.10, and at the moment, 83% of the money's on the Rockies to get the job done. Tonight's probables: Samardzija for the Giants, Sensatella for the Rockies. And speaking of Colorado, they've actually struggled as of late, going just 2-3 in their last 5. They also dropped their most recent 3-game series to the Pirates, losing by an average of 4 runs in those defeats. The bad news for Rockies bettors ends there, however, as this Colorado team wins 62% of their games overall and a solid 63% as the official favorite. They're facing a Giants team who lost their last 3 straight and wins just 12 of 36 on the road. Even worse, San Fran wins just 32% of their games as the underdog or even money. And typically I would make the case for both sides, but this Giants team is just bad, and unfortunately I can't even make the case to bet them in this spot. So with that said, let's go ahead and slide into some total run breakdown. San Fran's 4-0 for the overs in their last 4. Meanwhile, 2 out of Colorado's last 4 went over the line as well. Both teams are averaging nearly 13 total runs per game collectively in their last 4. With all that in mind, the case for the over can be confidently made. That said, I'm not so concerned with the run line or the total in this spot here. I would, however, like to pick a winner. So once again, the time for talk is over. It's time for me to throw my third and final dart with another severely misguided baseball pick in my 2-bedroom loft. Oh yeah, in my underwear too. When it comes to the money line play, the only case I can make for the Giants and their bettors in this spot is that I'm assuming their performance last night has swayed the action a little bit. A 1-run loss. The Rockies laying just 110 at home against the putrid Giants team just doesn't make sense to me. The Giants won just 5 of 13 when Samardzija makes the start. Meanwhile, Colorado's 9-4 when Sensatella starts on the bump. They're also winning a ridiculous 88% of their head-to-head matchups with San Fran this year. I can't make the case for the Giants to win here. I got to take the Colorado Rockies laying $1.10 to win it outright at home for some money line cash. I'm predicting a final score of 7-5 Rockies. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me. But before I get out of here, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. More importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Productions, I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.